you go to the Singapore General Hospital for treatment. But now, if you Google, for example, I had this calcaneus spur, a growth in the bone. If you Google like this, calcaneus, I Google this, calcaneus spur, and then it asks me, did you mean calcaneal spur? My spelling was wrong, I think. Calcaneal spur, it says, and then you can see 4,000 results. And then it says here, calcaneus pain, relax, take a deep breath. We have the answers you seek. I wish we had those answers at that time. I had to stop for 2 years before going on to run again in 73. But for today, we have Dr. Leong is here. Is Dr. Leong here? Is here? Okay. Dr. Leong will talk about briefly the human foot. And then he has some testing for you, and though you can make use of the test that he has, and you can learn something from Dr. Leong also. Thank you very much.
Okay, very nice. Thanks so much.
Thank you so much.
Thanks so much.
While Dr. Leong is getting the things ready, Dr. Leong is Vice President of race walking. Dr. Leong has been a competitor even before I was born. But
Not that old.
yes, and the information that he gives, he's going to give you is not old also. He's up to date, and so maybe this information might be useful for people directly now or for the future. Dr. Leong, can you?
Okay, this is my 2 or 3. Yeah. Actually, I'm a GP, just a GP, but I've been doing sports biomechanics for many, many years. Mainly because I've been injured myself. And as in medicine, they said, when you suffer from a disease or an injury, you become an expert. So I did more or less become an expert. Okay. Okay. We are supposed to talk about some, we didn't understand simple biomechanics of the foot. And with that, we hope we can induce more effective gait and less injury. Okay. The method is very simple. Ours is a very non-invasive method of prevention, as well as treatment of overuse injuries, like people knee pain, plantar fasciitis, which is very common, is something that I suffer from. The most important thing is this is developed by a doctor for healthcare professionals with no special training in foot biomechanics, no need formal training. Anybody can understand it. Simple, common sense method. Right? To start with, I want to change your mindset. Think of evolution. You know who's this guy? 200 years ago. He changed the whole environment, thinking that somebody thought that he proposed that humans will develop from monkeys. Not really. Actually, it's a matter of natural selection. In natural selection, each slight variation which is useful will be preserved and perpetuated. And anything that is detrimental to survival will disappear. As simple as that. Simple concept of selection is, a lot of people think that, especially mothers, they say you play basketball, you become taller. Is it true? Or if you do weightlifting, you get shorter. Not really, isn't it? It's a selection of the tall people who are good and become basketball players. And the weightlifters, if they are short, they have less distance to travel. Most of them become good. So obviously, outwardly, they think, you will assume that weightlifting will create short people, basketball will create tall people. Okay. We have changed quite a bit, haven't we? From the days when a human first stood up on two hind legs, some people say about 1-2 million years ago. And the footprint they made apparently is still the same. In the natural environment, when you stand even now on the beach, you make a footprint on the sand. And this footprint has been over 1-2 million years molding the foot. The soft earth has been molding the foot into the shape we think is ideal. Like these beautiful legs. When the earth was soft, the foot was sinking. And the foot gets supported evenly. And it's been molding the foot for 1-2 million years. So that what we see now to be ideal has been molded for more than a million years ago. But what happened? With the invention of the wheel, it covered the earth with cement, hard cement. Good for the cars, small cars, big cars. But not very good for, I hope you work this one. It's supposed to have a video, I don't think it works. It's not very good for humans. Oh yeah, beautiful. Yeah, it works. Observe the anchor, it collapses in. The foot can't sink in anymore, see? Because the ground is hard and flat. So as a result, it has to collapse one way or the other. I like to go shopping, look at people's legs. And this, and invariably you see people collapsing. Sometimes so much so that you wonder whether the foot will break off. The problem mainly is because why? The ground is hard and flat. You see, when it's soft, the foot will sink in. Now it's hard and flat. You can't sink in anymore. So depending on how flexible you are, the more flexible you are, the more you collapse. From here, this is one of the earliest footprints to here. As I said, it took us over 1 million years. But the foot is evolving, but not fast enough to keep pace with the material gain. We are evolving. Maybe in the year 1 million AD, another million years time, everybody will get flat-footed. We are adapting, you see, because we are adapting to the flat earth. It's not that people are born with flat feet. That's what we say. Or with no feet at all. People don't use at all. This lady was born without a fibula. And there are more and more people are like that. So she had both her legs amputated. And but she is still very mobile. So is this guy. I'm sure you know him. He wants to run in the Olympics. He also born without fibula. But he could run, he could climb mountains, and the lady could don on a beautiful pair of artificial legs and go fashion modeling. So maybe in a million years' time, people will have no feet. And everybody will wear a different leg for different purposes. And maybe you can wear a jet propelled kind of legs and fly off in the air. No more athletics for us. See, actually the human foot is a masterpiece of engineering. But the problem is, we have messed up the environment. Yeah, and nature is fighting back. And that's why we have all the problems. Because we are walking on unnatural ground. That's the problem. So to understand the problem, we have to look at the normal gait. How do we walk? And why do we walk the way we walk? And there are three phases to normal gait. The landing phase, support phase, and the propulsive phase. Okay. Actually, let me see. Actually, to understand, okay, that's now a controversial how we land, how we walk. See, normally, in biomechanics, we think the foot we land on the heel, and as you roll forward, because the ground cut is hard and flat, you're going to flatten, you pronate. And in order to throw off, you have to resupinate. To understand what is pronation and resupination, maybe, okay, this is ahead of time, okay, sorry. See, you pronate, but you have to resupinate. After you explain to you why we need to resupinate, that's the operative work in order to throw off. Okay. The efficient gait and an inefficient gait. The top one is the efficient gait because you can resupinate and throw off, whereas the lower one, you remain pronated without supination. Later on, we'll explain to you. I think this is a bit ahead of time. Okay, to understand some simple biomechanics, the movement of the joint, the three planes, horizontal, sagittal, and coronal. Okay. Sagittal is when you move this way, the knee go this way, up and down, foot up and down, dorsiflexion and plantarflexion is simple enough. Transfer is abduction and adduction. The foot move this way back. Alright? And frontal this way, the foot move this way, the heel move this way. Then also the heel move that way. So three planes. We move in three planes. Maybe in time. But the interesting part now comes to the midfoot. The midfoot has got three axes. Because the foot got three columns, the medial column, the lateral column, and the rear foot. And when they move together, there's a composite movement. Then we call one pronation, one neutral, and one supination. What is pronation? Okay, pronation is when the foot is abducted. Maybe somebody can draw a diagram. Pronation, when the abduct, dorsiflex, and evert. See, the foot go this way. Can you see? This is called pronation. Pronation is when the foot collapses in. Three in one. Supination, just opposite. Supination is